Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining. This is Matt Tooher with Insurance Agency Marketing. Want to do thank you for joining us this morning. We're glad we could be joined by Andrew Gabriel this morning. He's our regional rep for EquiTrust. He's our internal wholesaler, so appreciate Andrew being on with us here shortly. I'm in the annuity marketing department at IAMS. I've been here for a number of years. Have seen a lot of changes over the years, but right now is an excellent time to be in the annuity space. The 10-year T-bill is at near record heights the last 30 years. That's leading to much better interest rates, better cap rates, really a strong accumulation time. And we're also seeing very competitive income plays based on these different companies. So definitely a great time to be in this business. Good spot for your clients to take some of their gains they've made in the market the last 2 years, slide those into annuities for guaranteed growth, great opportunities based on that. So do appreciate you joining us. We continue to offer our levels for additional incentives between $100,000 and $1 million. We have different items you can choose from based on the level you reach in the first 180 days of being contracted through IAMS, anywhere between iPads, cash, seminar systems, a radio show, a lot of different items you can choose from to enhance your future production. I know we have a lot of agents that choose the seminar programs, a good way for you to get in front of additional clients, make additional sales, and then utilize that growth to do some more advertising and further enhance your production down the road. So really good program going on that end. We continue to offer our referral program. You refer agents to IAMS. We'll go ahead and bonus you based on their production. We pay out 20 basis points based on indexed annuity premium. Single premium life, it's 0.075%, so a good chance to get some additional money on that. And for MIGA business, it's 10 basis points, so to keep that in mind. We also do our market reimbursement. The more you produce with IAMS, the more that you have available in your market reimbursement account. I know we have agents asking me all the time what their marketing balances are. I go ahead and give those to them the same day. They do get reimbursed half their cost. So if they spend $1,000 on a room to do a seminar, we will reimburse half of that, which should be $500 based on their marketing balance. So good way for IAMS to have a little additional incentive for you to do more business through IAMS, especially on the indexed side of the business. And then we do help you out with your marketing costs, definitely help maximize your growth in this annuity market, and hopefully you can reach new levels of production based on using those marketing dollars. So definitely a good program we put together there. We have a great back office support team. We have a great new business team, great marketing staff, creative team. We can help you out with all sides of your business. Maybe you're looking at doing some social media advertising, or you send in a 50-page or 100-page application. You're bound to have a few struggles in there. We help you find those missing answers or questions that need to be finalized, and a lot of good stuff we can help you out with based on that new business. So it definitely does pay to do e-applications. It basically will not let you advance in the application process until you have fully completed the app, and you can't sign off on the app until everything has been answered. So definitely a godsend for people that have bad handwriting, people that tend to miss things as they're going through applications. Doing the e-apps definitely saves time and effort for you in the home office. So definitely keep that in mind on utilizing the e-app systems. We do most of those through Firelight right now. They have an excellent e-app platform, and most of our companies are signed up through Firelight. We have our own website, www.iamsinc.com. We have a lot of really good resources on this website. We have a sales library, gives you a lot of different marketing ideas, sales ideas, good stuff you can utilize in the field. We have, of course, our up-to-date interest rates on the line. You can do income comparisons. You can look at the best MIGA rates based on any scenario. Maybe you have a 90-year-old in the state of Washington looking for the best 5-year rate. You can look that up. EquiTrust to be right there with a 5% rate right now. So very strong rate there on a 5-year program available in Washington. We also have a term quoting device. We have a long-term care quoting system on there. So a lot of good stuff you can utilize right there on our IAMS website. As I mentioned, we have a great e-application system right on the website. We use Firelight, iPipeline, Sunfire. It kind of depends if you're doing an annuity versus a life insurance policy. Life insurance uses one grid. We use the Firelight on the annuity end, but definitely streamlines the program, and it turns a 5-week process on getting apps through and funded maybe down to 3 weeks or 2 weeks. It depends on the company you're doing business with and the companies you're getting money from. So a lot goes into these programs for sure. Creative wise, we have a great creative team. They have lots of experience in developing websites, doing campaigns, be it maybe a mailing campaign or a social media campaign or doing emails. They can help you with all sides of that program. They do a great job on getting the forms to look the way they want them to look, get better responses, update your website into the 2020s. I know a lot of websites have been around for 10, 15, 20 years. A lot of them definitely look old school, or they'll help you get your website advanced into the new mode here in 2025. So definitely take advantage of their systems and utilize their services they offer on that creative side. We have a great team on the wealth management side. We've had this going for the last number of years, and we do have a great group of people on that end. If you do have interest in give some additional information on the wealth management team, I'm going to go ahead and launch a quick poll, but just mark off yes. I know they have a lot of good platforms to utilize. It's set up on the Series 65 system. So you get your Series 65, you'll get your, we're an RIA, you can work through our group. Yeah, I know we have seen a huge growth on this side of the market. We just really got jumped into it about 5 years ago, and we see a really nice growth every year. And then the number of agents we have in our top 50 that have securities license has jumped. It may have been 10% back in the day. Now it's more like 80% have the securities license. So definitely a great extra tool you can have in your box there to utilize. So once again, if you do have interest in getting some more information on our wealth management team, we'd love to have Duncan give you a call. Just mark off yes. And we'll go ahead and have him contact you and get you on board, or help you get into the security side of the business, help you get your Series 65 passed, whatever it might take to get you going. He can definitely help you out with that. So I'm just open for another 10 seconds or so, but if you do have interest, mark off yes. Be glad to get you going on that end and get you jumping on that security side as soon as possible. We'll go ahead and close that up. We also do our life and annuity academies. I know we do about 3 of these a year now. I know that EquiTrust did co-op one of these last year. Have seen some really good results on individuals that do attend these meetings. We bring in between 35 and 40 attendees, and we see really good production increases when they go back to their areas. They pick up some good sales ideas. They go over the different trends in the market right now, which index strategies are working the best, which the best carriers are, who has the best bonus rates, the easiest companies to work with. And that's one of the huge strengths in EquiTrust. We always have very good luck with their service, very easy company to do business with, their website to do quotes, look up information, very user friendly. So definitely kudos to EquiTrust on how they've developed on that side of the market. But if you do have interest in coming out to one of our meetings, we do take care of most of your cost. We do put you up at a hotel. You come in for 2 nights, usually come in Wednesday. The meeting would start Wednesday evening, goes all day Thursday, goes into Friday morning. But a lot of good stuff we cover at these meetings. But if you do have interest in getting involved with one of these meetings, we'll probably do our first one sometime in March or April. Probably do a second one sometime in July or August. And the third one probably be sometime in October. But definitely a good way to get to meet some of the employees here at IAMS, get to meet some of the employees at some of the home offices that participate. Really, it's a win-win for you and your clients. You're getting more information, be able to pick up a lot of good details you may not know at that point. When you come to our meeting, you do go away with some very valuable information, that's for sure. So we're going to get this poll closed up. We'll keep things moving. We do offer a really nice trip about once every 18 months. Qualification going on right now is for a Quebec trip. The trip itself is August of this year. Qualification runs through June of 2025. The trip itself was the 3rd through the 8th of August, 5 million points to qualify. I know we've got about 60 people on pace right now to qualify for our trip. Should be a fantastic time there up in Quebec. Very nice location we're staying at. Very good spot up there. So looking forward to having as many of you qualify as possible, but should be a great trip we're having up there in Canada. So definitely keep that in mind. You can also follow us on Facebook and LinkedIn. We have presence on both sites. We do advertising on both ends. So we do some specific advertising on the social media platforms, and we definitely take full utilization of those programs. So definitely keep that in mind when looking at what we offer here through IAMS. Once again, we do appreciate Andrew being on with us today. I know he does a great job there at EquiTrust. And I'm gonna go ahead and change presenters to Andrew. So Andrew, your site should be up on our system now, so you can go ahead and get things loaded up on your end. I can hear you loud and clear.
Perfect. Welcome aboard,
sir.
Thank you. Let me show my screen here and see.
Oh, there we go. 1% commission bonus.
Yeah.
Things are looking up there at EquiTrust right now.
Right.
There we go. I like it.
Well, thank you for having me on today. Appreciate it, Matt. As always, we've got a lot of exciting things going on here at EquiTrust. As Matt was just talking about here, we have the 1% bonus currently in store for any apps coming in from January 1st to March 31st. That's apps received now. So by March 31st at 5 p.m. Central Time, you have to have those apps in. So just so you know that it's on any of our index annuities, as you can see here. Also our bridge products. So that's something I'll be talking about today, our long-term care rider. So that is available. And then also our Wealth Max product as well. So a lot of great things there. Like I said, we will have a lot of things coming down the pipeline here in the first quarter that we'll be sharing coming up. I can't really divulge anything right now, but like I said, we in 2023 did $3.1 billion in sales in 2023, and prior to that, we were in the $1.5 to $2 billion, and then in 2024 we finished the year out at $7.05 billion. So more than doubled our sales. From that time, we in 2023 we had kept the same amount of employees that we had, and in 2024 we knew we had to increase our sales force, so we did that as well. from that standpoint to help, um, get all the business through. I know in September 30th of this last year, we decreased our lifetime income benefit rider rates on our roll-ups and our upfront bonuses and things like that. And I know we had normally we have about 200 pieces of business coming in daily. I know on October 1st, we had over 1,600 apps come in, but we had actually gone through those in about a week and a half and serviced all those, meaning processing them and getting them through new business. So it's really unheard of in this industry, because a lot of times you get a lot of hiccups and a lot of, long time frames and things like that. So we're definitely going to be upping the ante again with, new sales force coming in and things like that to definitely, because our goal is going to increase this year. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but I know it's going to be more than 7.05 billion. So we'll have a lot of great things coming in. I know Matt talked about, what are our top products in the index annuity space right now. Right now, our top products are our Market 10 bonus, our Market 7 in second place, and then our Market Power is going to be in third place right now currently. So that's kind of where we're at as far as the index annuity side of things. Bridge, we're doing great sales in that right now, along with our Wealth Max too. Our Wealth Max is our single premium life insurance product that is designed, it's an index whole life for clients that have money sitting on the sidelines that want to leave to their wealth transfer for an enhanced guaranteed death benefit. At the end of the day, you might have a 4%, on a CD or a fixed account or something like that, but it's hard to beat what you can get in a Wealth Max with that enhanced guaranteed death benefit. And a lot of great things from the underwriting. We've streamlined that, so it's all in-house on Firelight now, so that you can get the underwriting decision back in within about a minute, honestly. So that's great news there on our Wealth Max. We had our Wealth Max back 2019 all the way back to 2012, and then we kind of shut it off in 2019 and then brought it back here this last year. So a lot of exciting things, like I said, here at EquiTrust for sure. So I'm gonna
Market 10 is your number one seller. I know now's a great time to utilize that plan with the IRA deposits. You guys go down to $5,000 on initial deposit on that, and then you can put additional funds in the first 5 years and earn that 6% bonus on all additional deposits those first 5 years. Then you will take money after that, but you just don't get the bonus. So really good combination on that IRA side of the market, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, thank you for adding that. Yeah, for sure. I mean, definitely for IRAs, even non-qualified money, of course, when they're putting contributions in. Yeah, for the first 5 years, they do get that 6% premium bonus, plus then the 6% roll up on the income rider for 10 years as well.
So on the additional 1% commission bonus, I heard that you're going to personally hand deliver all those checks to the agents like Publisher Clearinghouse does. Is that true, Andrew?
That is not true, Matthew.
Okay.
That would be, I thought that was you. Maybe there was some miscommunication there, but
that'd be a lot of mileage on my car or plane to get all those delivered. That's for sure.
Yes, indeed.
Now, will they pay that out like sometime in April or May, based on obviously when the policy's funded? And then is there like a delay on that? Or they say they pay that out separately? Andrew?
No, they don't pay that out separately. It's on top of that.
So it's built into their commission when it gets paid out.
Yep, correct.
Good. That's good news.
You got it. Exactly. So, well, awesome. Yeah. So that's what we've got in store. Like I said, this first quarter is going to be exciting. We've got a lot of other good things coming down the pipeline, but we'll all, we always keep you in communication with stuff and emails and all that good stuff. And we'll always keep in contact for sure.
Yeah, as far as I know, EquiTrust does have the best bonus on commissions right now. I don't think anyone's even close to the 1% you guys are paying out.
Oh, wow.
It's really it's a really big boost on what agents can make on their compensation. and definitely a great time to put business to EquiTrust and earn a little bit more for your efforts right now.
Yeah, no, that's great to hear. That's something I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, knowing a lot more carriers than I would, but yeah, no, that is great to hear for sure. Great news.
That's good news.
Well, I'll move on to the bridge product here today. I know in the past we've talked about this, but at the end of the day, I know there's probably some new people on here. And our bridge product was designed back in October of 2022. Assured Allies is our partner. They are a long-standing company that's in the long-term care side of things as far as information goes, that they're an expertise in that. And they knew that they had to come up with a company to partner with, to come up with a product, because we know 90% of the companies out there now are not doing new business anymore. The 10% of the companies that are just keep increasing their rates every single year on true long-term care. So they knew they had to do something. So they came up and partnered with us in, like I said, October of 2022 to come up with this product, this bridge product. To kind of go over the agenda today, we're going to address the long-term care coverage gap, where we're different, the wellness NeverStop program, our product details, product positioning, our licensing and training. And then there is a video. I won't be playing the video today, but there is a video that is out on the actual agent site. So when you go into the microsite of Bridge, there are multiple videos that you can go over that discuss what is Bridge, how does underwriting work, how does our NeverStop program work. A lot of great videos out there that will go over all of that information. Why Bridge? Where we differ from other competitors' products. There's not a ton of competitors out there, unlike index annuities with lifetime income benefit riders. So that's nice. So where we differ is, number one, we have an index annuity chassis. So index annuity chassis that would be very similar, once again, to a index annuity with a lifetime income benefit rider. Unlike some of our competitors that have a fixed account only. So a lot more potential growth there on the index annuity side. We got S&P 500 cap on there. We've got a lot of different other index. We got a fixed bucket. We've got some Barclays. We've got a Focus 5 index. So, and I'll show you those here in just a bit on what we have to offer. This flexible premium. So you can add additional flexible premiums until they actually turn on claim. It is a simplified underwriting process with a guaranteed approval. So you heard that, right? It's guaranteed. There's no denial on our product. The wellness program, the NeverStop program I talked about, it is indemnity claim-based process, meaning they don't have to submit receipts like true long-term care does. It is a custom LTC benefit, one size fits none. The charge structure is, we're very competitive in the fees. And then it's a completely digital process, meaning that digital process on the application, video for underwriting, and all of that is done right in our Bridge microsite on the agent site of EquiTrust. The dilemma, and like I talked about before, 88%. This is a little old. It's January of 2022, which we need to update. But 90% of decreased insurers are offering traditional long-term care coverage anymore. 70% of those turning 65 today will need some level of long-term care support. And 66% of the caregivers using personal savings for retirement accounts to pay for long-term care for a loved one. And that's the last thing we want to do, right, is burden our loved ones, our family. We don't want to have to do that if we don't have to. We want to be able to pay out of our pocket and be able to pay the caregiver, whoever they choose, to be able to pay. And the nice thing about this is they can be at home. They don't have to be in a long-term care facility or anything like that. So they can be at home and age in place there. 88% of the adults between 50 and 80 age in place. Like I said, they want to be at home where it's comfortable and not be in a facility if they don't have to be. Here's some of the numbers that we talked about. Like I said, it's January 2022. Depending on where you live, the Midwest is going to be a lot cheaper than what the East or West Coast is going to be. but these are some of the numbers that we do have, and it's very expensive, as you can see here from that standpoint. So, you know, at the end of the day, we want them to have long-term care so that they don't, you know, blow up their retirement as they are needing it coming up in their lifetime. Here's the 3 important objectives that we are going to talk about today. You know, the ability to protect and grow assets, you know, the index annuity chassis with the 5 indexes in the fixed bucket to be able to, you know, an index annuity is principal protection, right? And then just to be able to preserve that and grow assets. Then we have the long-term care coverage rider attached, and then the NeverStop Wellness program that we'll talk about. And all in all, creates the bridge products. Here's the long-term care coverage ratio. So when a client goes through underwriting, and we'll go over some of the, I don't have the questions on here, but there are 5 pre-screening questions that they have that will kind of, I guess, kind of knockout questions, so to speak, that will, if they do answer any of the yes questions to the first 3 questions, it's going to automatically give them a secure rating. But if they answer no to all 5 of them, then they'll go under underwriting to either get preferred, standard. I wouldn't imagine they get secure if they didn't answer no to the first 5. But, you know, you can see some of these here. You know, based upon 100,000 you put in day 1, at age 55, 325% for a coverage ratio. That would be a 325% long-term care initial benefit base. Okay, so that's just an example, and we'll go through some hypothetical here to show you a little bit more in a little bit.
So what percentage of clients are getting issued secure or standard and preferred, the top 2?
Yeah, no, that's a great question.
90% or?
No, currently it's right around about 70% of preferred and about 20% standard.
Okay.
And then 10% secure. So
good.
Yeah.
So majority of people get issued preferred.
Right. Exactly. And obviously, at the end of the day, it really depends on, you know, what the agent's looking at. You know, I mean, if he does true long-term care and they're getting denied, you know, here's another option. If there's agents that are just not doing true long-term care at all, obviously then it's going to go up even more, right? As far as the status goes, because, you know, we're going to have a lot more people that are going to get preferred. More than likely, if they get denied at a true long-term care, they're more than likely probably going to have a, you know, a lower rating here, whether it's secured or standard.
Right.
Product details: issue ages 55 to 80, minimum premium of 50,000, non-qualified only right now. We will be going to qualified here, hopefully in 2025. I don't have an estimated time frame right now on that, but that is some good news that they are looking into that and know that that is needed. That'll be a nice additive to this product. It is currently single owner, single annuitant right now, so there is no joint policies that can be on here. So I just thought I'd add that in. That is something they're looking into here as well. I don't know, once again, if that'll be in 2025, but that is something they're looking at as well. Like we talked about, it is flexible premium. This is a 10-year surrender charge, 10% penalty freeze after the first year. So it's just like a regular index annuity with that 10% penalty free that you can get out. So, you know, if you take 10% out, you know, it's going to be dollar for dollar taking out of the actual cash value and out of the LTC benefit base. The accumulation value potential, like I talked about, 5 index accounts plus a fixed account and the flexible benefit base. Here are some of the indexes that we were talking about a little bit ago. You got the cap, it's 8%, 4.5% for the fixed bucket, so very competitive rates there, along with the participation rates of the other indexes. The illustration rate, as you can see here, for example, in the cap of 8%, it is going to illustrate 5.54% on the illustration per year, just the average that we have come up with for the indexes. That way it's a lot easier just for the average. So that's what that'll illustrate. And the nice thing is with these indexes, you just like any other index product, you can allocate however you'd want to. You've got, 6 indexes here. You could put, split it into 6, different times, or if you want to do 50-50 or, 25-25-25-25, whatever you want to do.
And they can change those on an annual basis, right?
On an annual basis, just like normal. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Here are the riders: nursing home waiver, terminal illness rider. Those are standard across the index annuity industry. Those are going to be on this index annuity as well, if they ever need access to their money. Long-term care rider, which of course is attached, is automatically included. But as far as the fee goes, there's a premium load of 1% for the first year. That's it. And then you'll have your monthly charge based upon what you can see here, the LTC benefit base minus the accumulation value. And there's not an easy way to really figure that, because I know some people ask what the percentage is. Well, it really depends on what rating they get, how old they are, what the accumulation value will be, what the LTC benefit base will be. So there's not a specific answer I can give you, like, on a lifetime income benefit rider, they say it's a 1% fee. I can say, oh, it's a 1% fee. Well, I can't really specifically state that because, once again, there's so many variables there. So when you do run a detailed illustration, then there on the actual illustration, it will have an explanation of the fees. So that is a nice thing that we'll be able to visually see that. NeverStop Wellness Rider is automatically included, but it is a $100 charge per year. Now with the NeverStop Wellness Rider, and I'll kind of go into that now, just so once we get into the hypothetical, the NeverStop Wellness Rider, they don't have to put on if they do not want to. So that $100 wouldn't be charged per year. However, the NeverStop program is designed for once the client is issued. So let's say they're age 65, right? And they get issued. And let's say at age 75, they want to obviously turn on claim. So they get 10 years of aging in processor, right? So the design is we partnered with Assured Allies, and they have what is called a health coach available. And what the health coach will do is it's designed is to keep the client active during those 10 years of their life, not to keep them sedentary, keep them active. So if they do achieve the certain objectives that the health coach gives them, then we will give them an additional money on top of the LTC benefit base. So I always call it a kind of like a cherry on the top, so to speak, that just gives them a little more money to be able to add on to that. Plus, then they're staying active as well along with that. So that's that program. And I'll show you here in a moment on a hypothetical, of what that is. Here's the long-term care, all in a nutshell. Guaranteed issue cannot lapse. It is tax-free LTC benefits per the Pension Protection Act, flexible premium, once again, up to a maximum of $1 million. So there is no exceptions there. It's a maximum of $1 million. And then the actual LTC benefit base itself does grow at 2% per year. It's kind of like a roll-up in a life income rider. If it had like a 7% roll-up compounded annually, well, this has got a 2% roll-up compounded annually for up to 20 years. And then you get your ability to put on the LTC NeverStop program as well. There. Here's a long-term care rider, what it provides. Once again, like I said, client chooses the LTC initial LT benefit base up to the coverage ratio based upon their issue age and risk class. And I've already kind of gone over that. That is a maximum of $1 million on the coverage.
I'm going to launch a quick poll here, Andrew, just so they can give me some information if they want to get some additional information on the bridge or any other EquiTrust products we talked about here.
Sounds great.
So far today. And so if you have interest in getting some information on the bridge, just mark off yes. We'll be glad to get those details out to you. I know you guys have increased the coverage amounts. I know they've gone up considerably from when it first got introduced, and it's very competitive right now. I mean, you get 3-to-1 ratio based on being a preferred client. No matter what your age is, that's a pretty good number that you guys are going to cover based on that scenario. And obviously the cost of having expenses when you're in a facility is tremendous, and those go up a bunch every year that your client's in. And and that you get coverage at home, same thing. I mean, getting someone to come into your house and take care of someone, it gets to be very expensive. So any additional coverage you can get really helps pay those fees. I mean, you're probably looking at full coverage for someone coming to your house every day, for 8 hours a day or longer. You're probably looking at probably $8,000 to $10,000 a month. So it's going to be a very expensive situation.
Exactly.
So I'm going to leave this over for another 10 seconds or so. So if you do want to get some information on the bridge or maybe some of the indexed annuities that EquiTrust have available, they also have a very competitive fixed rate contracts with rate guarantees. I know right now EquiTrust is at the very high end of the commissions they pay on those. Even without the 1% additional comp, they're still higher than most. So if you do have interest in like a 5-year rate guarantee at 5 or a 6-year rate guarantee at 5.05, really good rates are offering right now, and that those rates should hold, based on where the 10-year T-bill is right now. So very competitive on those rates. Well, I went ahead and close that back up so you can continue on there, sir.
Perfect. So as far as the long-term care rider goes and how they access the actual benefit, what they need to do is they need to submit a claim. And how they do that, we do have a form. The client calls in and we'll send that form to them. And they'll obviously take it to their doctor. If they're failing 2 of their 6 ADLs or severe and cognitive impairment, then the doctor will then sign off on that. They will provide a plan of care, which is on that form that we do have. They'll write in all the plan of care and all that information. And also the client does need to be a U.S. resident. Now, the thing that they need to do is that they do need to renew this every year, the client does, saying they're failing 2 of their 6 ADLs. So the doctor will need to fill out this form every single year, okay, for those 5 years. If say in the 2nd or 3rd year they're not failing 2 of their 6 ADLs anymore, then the payment just stops. Like I talked about, benefits, indemnity based, no receipts required. The annual certification required to continue the benefits, and then the benefits are tax-free up to the IRS per diem. Like I talked about, the Pension Protection Act there. The assured underwriting process, very painless, less than 30 minutes when it comes to the actual underwriting. Like I explained, the 100% guarantee approval for LTC benefits, no one's declined. Quick decision on the underwriting class. So if they do the underwriting today, more than likely they're going to get that decision back the same day. So that's good. We don't go after any medical records or prescription records. The actual underwriting process consists of 7 cognitive questions and 7 physical ability questions during that video of that 30 minutes. So they'll be doing some standing up, so they'll have to have a clear view. They'll want to have good internet coverage, because I always tell agents to say, make sure that if they can come into your office and you can set them up for success, so they have good internet coverage and that. If not, a lot of the times, if they don't have good internet coverage and they're halfway through the underwriting process and it just shuts off, well, unfortunately, they're going to have to reschedule that underwriting and start all over again. So kind of key to try to make sure that they're set up for success there. I did talk about the 5 pre-screening questions before the underwriting, and that is something that when you go onto the Bridge microsite, you can see those questions. They are on there to answer. So you'll be able to look into those. Built-in fraud protection, identity verification and live video assessment, and then designed just to limit the human bias and judgment at the end of the day. So very, like I said, painless underwriting. Once you do it once, then it's easy. Or a couple times, just like riding a bike, getting on and doing it is key there. Here's the hypothetical example I was talking about. David, age 65, retired, single, 3 grown children, living independently as long as possible for objective, preserve his assets, which would be that index annuity that we have, and then avoid burdening his children for assistance of the ages, right? And that's what we were talking about, not having to have his children pay for anything or having to use their children to take care of them. And they can get some caregiver that they can be able to afford this and do that. So we get an initial premium of $250,000, preferred underwriting class, and at age 65, it's a 315% coverage ratio. So 250 times 315 would be $787,500. Okay. So in this example, what I was talking about before, age 65, and say David 10 years later wants to turn on claim, well, we've got that NeverStop program that he can be doing in the time being in those 10 years. And this is an example of that. So David's successful aging plan. He wants to be able to use a Calm app, work with a wellness ally to improve sleep 2 hours a week, addressing hearing loss, participation in 1 hearing test, and then stress reduction, participation in 2.5 hours of yoga each week. So this is kind of some of those examples of those achieving those. If he achieves those and like gets that, then there is a monetary thing that we would be able to get him. And on the next page here, you'll be able to see where David, 10 years later, has now submitted a claim. His benefit base now from $787,500 has grown to $959,958 because of the 2% guaranteed growth for 10 years. And you'll see the NeverStop Wellness credits of $67,953. So like I said, it's not a ton, but it is the cherry on the top. It gives you a little bit more money to add towards your monthly benefit. And you see the $1,027,911. Take that divided by 60 months, which is 5 years, and David's going to get a nice monthly check of $17,132 to pay his caregivers, pay whatever expenses he has at the end of the day. So we pay that strictly to David, and he does however he wants to do with that money. I always make an example: if the caregiver needs to go on vacation and David needs to pay for that, David can pay for that. There's no rules or regulations when it comes to this, like true long-term care is, from the standpoint of having to submit receipts and all that. So he can use the money how he wants to use it.
That's a sizable benefit, $17,000 a month. That's a big number for a $250,000 deposit.
Yep, exactly.
Because the first year he's going to get out, I mean, 17,000 times 12, that's almost 200 grand right there.
Yep, exactly. So I mean, it definitely, and obviously this is the preferred rating, of course, Right. So if it does go to standard, you're looking at 215. So
most of your 65-year-olds are usually in pretty good shape, so most of those should qualify for a preferred rating. And
even if you put in $100,000,
yeah,
that's going to be pretty substantial when it comes to that.
Some pretty big benefits there based on those numbers.
Exactly. So nice little example here just to show you an idea. And once again, once you get into the actual microsite, there's a lot of great things in there from the standpoint, once again, running an illustration, and it'll show you a lot more visual of everything too as well. The sales opportunities, 1035 exchanges from annuities or life insurance. And you'd ask, why is that? Well, if the annuities or life insurance, the cash value is very low, or the annuities, the rates are not doing very good, well, let's get them into a better rates, right? 8% cap's a pretty good rate right now, 4.5% on the fixed bucket. Say, you had an annuity, I don't know, 5-10 years ago where the cap was 3.5%. Well, get them into an S&P with 8% cap. There's a great opportunity here for that. Money market checking, savings, CDs. Clients previously uninsurable for true long-term care, like we had talked about. And once again, they are guaranteed no matter what. So if they do get denied from true long-term care, a lot of guys will ask, well, can I still go through underwriting here? And then, yeah, there's no regulation that they can't or anything like that. So that's nice. And then alternative traditional long-term care at the end of the day, and then those annual reviews, like we talked about, the doctor doesn't need to renew the form every year saying they're failing to the 680Ls for that. Licensing and training. They do need to have a health license and a life license. There are about 8 to 10 states that don't require the health license, but all the other states do require health license, life, and all of that. And then you got to have your EquiTrust product training, of course, but that will be done when you are appointed, or previously, once you get active, you will have that training done because that's required by us to have you do that.
In the states where they require long-term care training, if that's required for this plan?
In certain states, it is required to as well. So that'd be something we would want to definitely have to look at, whether it's IAMS looking into
and
that.
You guys have a list of states, don't you, that would require
We do it? On the agent site. We do have a place where it shows all the states that require it as well. So that would be something that, yeah, definitely would want to look into as well when they're, checking with the contracting at IAMS, or you can check with our contracting, however you want to do that, or don't jump on the website and check there too as well. We have all that information on there. Yep, exactly.
Cool.
Here's the Bridge microsite, just to kind of give you a little idea of what it looks like here at the end of the day. Once you log in and you click on the microsite, like I said, it'll take you to this bridge, and you can see the picture of the actual microsite. You can get all your marketing, agent marketing materials here, all your client marketing, approved marketing materials. You'll do your illustrations here. There's a calculator. It's kind of like all the way at the bottom. It's a nice little quick calculator to say you want to get a client like $4,000 per month. Well, that'll tell you how much premium you need. So then that way you can just go into the illustration and plug in the premium. So it's a quick versus having to do guess and check on the detailed illustration. So you can solve for that. The underwriting, like I said, is done on there. The application is done on there. And then the licensing, we don't really do the licensing through there, but you can do it through there. But, at the end of the day, it's the marketing material, the illustration, the underwriting, the application are all done right there. So when it comes to that. So, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think, the key to this is that we're trying to make it as fully digital as possible and make it easy for the clients as possible. Electronic app will be submitted by the agent to the client. They'll sign it, and then it'll be sent back to the agent and submitted to us, just like a Firelight app. People are very familiar with that. The convenient video interview, and then the quick underwriting decision that comes back very quickly that same day. So I just wanted to thank you all for jumping on today. Is there any questions, Matt, that anybody has, or anything I can answer for you guys?
What's the approximate turnaround time when someone wants to write an app, compared to when they get licensed to the training? It's going to take like a week, a couple weeks to get it all done, you think?
Well, yeah, I mean, it really depends, from the standpoint of if they're already appointed with us. If they were already appointed with us, more than likely, depending on when they got appointed with us, if they're a newer agent, they've more than likely done our bridge training.
Right.
There are somebody that has maybe been an older agent with us from the standpoint of been with EquiTrust for a long time. More than likely, they probably haven't done our bridge training, so they'll have to go back in and do that. But if it's a brand new agent coming on that needs to get appointed with us, they've got to go through background checks, of course. And I can't really tell you how long backgrounds are going to check. Just really depends on, the situation there. But, obviously if they're already appointed, product training's done, yeah, you can really just jump in there and start doing something. The underwriting you can schedule, and typically I'm not going to guarantee you can get one. Say if you get in there today, try to schedule, I can't guarantee there's going to be any times open. There might be, I don't know. So you may have to wait till the next day or something like that. But yeah, very smooth process when it comes to that. Once that underwriting comes back, that, like I said, that same day, they can start filling out the application, submit it, and get her going.
Right. And another good thing about this is, say the client never uses the benefit, their beneficiary is going to get the money that's in the account. So
that's right.
That's
right.
The client,
That's
doesn't end up going to long-term care, and they've got $200,000 sitting in their accumulation account with the bridge. Their beneficiary is going to get that 200 grand in a lump sum, right?
Exactly. Just, that's what I always make an example of is your true long-term care. If they don't use it, it's you use it or lose it type of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't get any premium back. Well, here, at least the beneficiaries will get the, whatever minus any withdrawals that have been taken out if they had done a claim, or if they just taken the penalty-free withdrawal out, or if they didn't take anything out whatsoever, it would just be whatever the index had potentially grown to. That would be their actual cash value.
Right. And there's a lot of baby boomers out there right now writing big checks to long-term care facilities for their parents.
Yep.
They're writing a check for $9,000, $10,000, $11,000, $12,000 a month.
Yep.
And when they get an inheritance, they know the importance of having long-term care coverage, because they just end up paying, a facility for 2 years at 10 grand a month.
Yep.
$250,000 is now gone out of their parents' estate. So, it's definitely a burden on those, on those parents and on those kids, to take care of these costs. So they definitely know that that's out there, and that's something they really need to have covered down the road.
Yep. Exactly. So, yeah.
Otherwise, I appreciate your time this morning, Andrew. We like to keep this under 45 minutes if we can, based on total time here. And glad we got kicked off right on time today. We didn't have any technical difficulties. We're all good. Got started right out of the gate.
That is good.
Appreciate all the information today. It's a great time to write annuity business. I mentioned out of the gate, interest rates are at all-time highs right now, and carriers are passing those additional dollars on to clients based on these higher rates. So definitely a great time to buy fixed rate guarantees, your index contracts with some great cap rates, and a type of plan like the bridge, where you're getting long-term care benefits much higher than normal returns on the on the accumulation account. And really it's a great combination product, very strong plan for the client moving forward.
Exactly. So, well, awesome.
Well, have a great week, and have a great weekend, everyone, and appreciate everyone's time here on a Friday morning. I will personally contact everyone that was on the meeting. I'll call everyone that was not on the meeting today also, and then we'll go ahead and send you a link to a recorded version. If you want to repeat some of this information, you're more than welcome to watch that, part of it again. So otherwise, have a great weekend, everyone. Thanks again, Andrew, and we'll talk to everyone next week.
Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
Bye now.